Hello everyone, welcome to the new class of chemistry. In today's class we will discuss about the reverse osmosis as well as the abnormal molar masses. So let's start the topic. So what is reverse osmosis? We are well aware that osmosis process means a process in which the solvent is allowed or helped to flow. That is the osmosis process, and the pressure which stops the movement of or the flow of this solvent is actually mentioned as the osmotic pressure. So what if we do another thing in the case that suppose we given a solution, it is being separated by semi-permeable membrane. So definitely, as according to osmosis, from higher concentration to lower concentration, the solvent will move. The smaller particle, the solvent, will just move to the lower concentration area, and the osmosis will try to take place, and the osmotic pressure will try to avoid the movement of this osmosis. But what happens in reverse osmosis? It can be reversed even. The osmosis which has been done can be reversed. How? Suppose if we are applying a large amount of pressure, a pressure which is even more larger than the osmotic pressure. Suppose we are well aware that a certain amount of osmotic pressure is needed for a solution. So if we are putting an osmotic pressure which is greater than the actual osmotic pressure of the solution, and it is applied at the solution side, what will happen? Whatever the pure solvent is, it will flow out of the solution. Actually, in actual osmosis, because of the osmotic pressure, the solution couldn't get passed through the semi-permeable membrane. But in case of reverse osmosis, the pure solvent will flow out of the solution through the SPM, semi-permeable membrane, and that process is actually known by the name reverse osmosis, and it is best used in the process of desalination of seawater. Means in example, you are well aware that Arabian countries, especially Saudi Arabia, it is the country which is also known as the land of no river, because there are no rivers in Arabia. So what happens? They have to mainly depend upon the seawater. But you know that seawater is very much saline or salty. So in order to purify the seawater, what they do, they use this reverse osmosis process. This reverse osmosis process, they put the water into a container, a big large container, the seawater. Then it is passed through a semi-permeable membrane, and through reverse osmosis on the solution side, wherever the water is put, on that side, if higher pressure is given, the pure solvent flows out through the semi-permeable membrane, while the salt particles just remain there. So that's what happened in the reverse osmosis process. Okay, so that all were related to, so all those things which had been mentioned earlier were related to the colligative property, a property which is dependable upon the number of solvent properties of the solvent particles. Now we will discuss about another topic, abnormal molar mass. So what is an abnormal molar mass? We know that in some solutions, for example, if we take sodium chloride, when dissolved in water gets dissociated, right? It gets split up into sodium ion and chlorine ion. So how much moles of sodium ion and chlorine ion is obtained can be evaluated if one molecule of or 1 mole of sodium ion and chlorine ion is being used, then definitely 1 mole sodium and 1 mole chlorine will be obtained from the solution. But in some cases, what happens? The molar mass of sodium chloride or the molar mass of certain other things, when we calculate it in a calculative way other than the experimental way, it might get higher value or it might get lower value than the normal molar mass, because we know that molar mass of sodium chloride is 35.5. But in some cases, what happens when we do it experimentally, this 35.5 sometimes reaches to 34 or even 35 itself, or sometimes even to 36. So such molar mass where the molar mass reaches a higher value or a lower value than the expected one on the normal value is actually known as the abnormal molar mass. So in order to compensate the abnormal molar mass, a factor was associated, or a factor was created by a scientist, Van 't Hoff, in 1880, and which is also known as the Van 't Hoff factor. So what is the value of Van 't Hoff factor, or what is the equation of Van 't Hoff factor? Let us see. So what could be the equation of Van 't Hoff factor? It is nothing but I. The Van 't Hoff factor is represented with the symbol of I. I equals normal molar mass divided by abnormal molar mass, or observed colligative property divided by calculated colligative property. Otherwise, there is one more method to find the value of I. Total number of moles of particles after association or dissociation divided by number of moles of particle before association or dissociation. These are the methods by which we can find the value of I or the Van 't Hoff factor. Okay. So what happens in some cases, the Van 't Hoff factor can become high or can become low, as we mentioned about the abnormal molar mass. So if the Van 't Hoff factor is less than 1 or it is less than unity, it means that it has been an association process. Hence the molecules just get combined together. And if it is more than 1, then the dissociation process might have occurred and it will be a dissociation process. So all the equations of colligative property that we had found, it must be replaced with, or it must be included with a Van 't Hoff factor, so that we can compensate the problem of dissociation association issue. So the relative lowering of vapor pressure, we know the formula, P10 minus P1 divided by P10 equals I into N2 by N1. I is the Van 't Hoff factor. Similar to that, to elevation boiling point, delta TV equals I into kV into M. Depression of freezing point is equals to delta TV is equal to I into Kf into M. Osmotic pressure equals to pi into I into nRT divided by V. All these equations represent the equation of the colligative property, which is being included with the Van 't Hoff factor. Okay, so that's all about today's class and also about the chapter. It is the end of the chapter. The questions related to the the word problems, whichever are related to these questions, has been given in the textbook, and those textbook questions, the exercise questions, must be done in your notebook as your homework. Okay, that's all about today's class. Thank you. Have a nice day.